Hello, everyone. Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 286. Andrew Eisen here. Hello, Matthew. YouTube doesn't count you, but fantastic shoes you're wearing. What's interesting is the last two episodes of the Molehill Mountain podcast have 3 to 4 times the views it normally gets, which is great. I hope everyone who's watching is enjoying the show. So I looked in my analytics and found out that the bulk of these views are coming from recommendations. When my videos show up in my subscribers' recommends, they watch my videos. How about that? Now, it's still a very, 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 very small percentage of my subscribers. But that's always been the case. I mean, I've long had... I hit it out of the park with my first video, essentially. I think it was 2011 or something like that. I did the Nintendo Why Won't You Give Me My Money video, which went mildly viral. Got like 100,000 views or something like that in a week. And I did that, I think, in like June. And by the following October, I had 1,000 subscribers. So for the vast majority of my YouTube career, I've had well over 1,000 subscribers. Currently have well over like 11,250 something, I think it is. It's been slowly dropping. But from October of 2011, there was steady growth. I averaged about 1,500 to 1,800 new subscribers every year until 2017 when it flatlined. And I've just been bleeding subscribers to the tune of about 6 to 8 subscribers a month for the last 5 or so years. Matthew says, a lot of people subscribe to way more channels than they can watch. Oh, absolutely. I don't expect subscribing to my channel is not an agreement that you'll watch my content, but as long as all 11,250, whatever my subscriber count is right now, as long as every single one of them has the option to decide not to watch my videos, perfectly fine. But multiple times every month, I hear from people who are like, oh, Andrew, hey, you're still doing stuff? I remember you from years ago. Great to see you're still doing stuff. It's like, yeah, I never stopped. So, apparently that, and even some of you fine folks who are constantly in my chat for the live streams and stuff like that, sometimes you don't get notified. Because I forget who it was, but someone was like, oh, man, that... Was it the Easter video? It was something I did recently, and they're like, YouTube didn't tell me about that one, and it ticks me off because I liked it. But anyway, for the last couple of weeks, my Molehill Mountain podcasts have been getting like 350 views, where normally they get around like 80 or 90. I rarely break 100 views these days. Back before 2017, even with 10,000 plus subscribers, I usually got several hundred views on average, occasionally into the 1,000 or 2,000s, and then occasionally I'd have something hit big for my case and get tens of thousands, or the Why Won't You Give Me My Money is like 100,000 something. I have a couple that got over 1 million. They're the so effing fluffy kitten reaction videos, but and what's funny, folks, is my analytics tell me what you were searching for when you landed on that video. You horny little devils. So, the way I see it is, if I subscribe to someone's channel, I subscribe because I want to be notified. I don't understand why there's a subscribe and a notification button. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Well, aren't you going to notify me if I subscribe? No, we're not even going to notify you if we if we hit the notification bell. Nevertheless, I'm glad that everyone who enjoys my show. All I really hope for is that everyone who would enjoy my content has the option of refusal. You know, I would much prefer someone saying Molehill Mountain, not interested. Perfectly fine. But again, every month, multiple people, literally every single month, like 2 or 3 people every single month, contact me and say, hey, you're still doing stuff. You're not dead. It's like, wow. And I look up their username. Yeah, they're a subscriber of mine. Are you not getting notified of my videos? Etegikari. Hello. Game politics, huh? I miss game politics. That was a fun time. Shame we couldn't afford to keep that going, but the Entertainment Consumers Association, which owned us for the majority of our existence, decided to go in a different direction. Luckily, they released game politics to us, to James and EZK and myself, so that we could continue it going if we could. And we gave it a good try for 8 or 9 months. But yeah, ad revenue we just could not make enough money to justify keeping the site. So it's a shame. That was a lot of fun. Matthew says, my hot take is YouTube is bad for monetization, discoverability, and monetization. Yeah. Well, I don't sweat it because I don't do this for a living, nor am I trying to, but it just it feels how do I want to put this? It doesn't work the way I think it should. I think that, if you subscribe to a channel, you should be notified every time the channel uploads videos, because otherwise you wouldn't subscribe to the channel. And granted, a lot of people, as Matthew pointed out, have more subscriptions than they know what to do with, in which case, yeah, I would probably I would be on the bottom of my own stack, because YouTube is essentially like a television channel these days. The production value of a lot of the bigger channels out there is just phenomenal. I can't compete with that, nor do I try. I'm just here having fun, and hope you are too. So, anyway, but again, for whatever reason, several hundred views for the podcasts in the last couple of weeks. So, neat. So, if you're a new viewer, hi. Nice shoes. So, what do we have on the agenda for tonight? Well, there are a lot of things I could talk about. There are a lot of things that happened this week that I could talk about, and I am not going to because I don't want to. Tonight, we are going to have a pleasant podcast. It's going to be happy, fun stuff. Happy, fun times. All hour, or however long I go. Doesn't mean I won't talk about anything else next week or the week after. Lord knows I talked about some of it on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm not talking about it this week. Jared says, I do get notified by most of my subscriptions. Well, that's good. Chicago, hello. That's why I don't subscribe a lot. Maybe it's a systems issue where if you have over 400 subscriptions, it physically can't do that and just kicks the bottom. That may be what it's doing, is it looks at your subscription stack and then sorts it by various stats like subscriber size, viewership, ad revenue, and then filters the ones they want you to, the more profitable ones, to the top. Like YouTube can only notify 100, say, of your subscribed channels, and YouTube decides on which channels it's going to... Maybe that's what it is. Or something around there. Who knows? Firelight, hello. Anyway, so some of the hot button topics of the week you might expect me to touch on. I ain't touching that. Not this week, because I don't want to. Sticking my head in the sand. It's lovely, warm sand. I don't care what Anakin says. It's lovely in here. It's lovely here in the sand. So, the first thing I'd like to talk about is Square Enix. If y'all remember, Square Enix, a video game publisher, publishers video games. On New Year's Day, the president of Square Enix, Yosuke Matsuda, released a letter which was kind of weird. Basically, it extolled the virtues of NFTs and blockchain and cloud stuff and AI stuff. And how it really wanted to, how it, Square Enix, the company, wanted to move in that direction. And the portion of the letter that stuck out to everyone, I think, was, I realize that some people who play to have fun, and that was literally in quotes in the letter, the play to have fun. I realize that some people who play to have fun have voiced their reservations towards these new trends. And then he goes on, but we want to... It goes on from there. It's like, yeah, what are you weird people who play games to have fun? So, the writing was on the wall earlier this year, what direction Square Enix was going. So, earlier this week, on March 2nd, Square Enix announced that it is divesting itself of some companies and its associated IPs. That being Crystal Dynamics and Eidos, which means it's divesting itself of Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and some others. Now, recently we've seen these multi-billion-dollar acquisitions. You know, Sony acquiring Bungie and Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard for like $80 billion or something like that. So, another company just picked up Crystal Dynamics and Eidos. How much do you think they paid for it? $1 billion, $10 billion, $50 billion? $300 million, apparently. This has not gone through yet. This still needs to be approved and stuff. This should happen later in the year unless something weird happens. But $300 million for Deus Ex, Thief, Tomb Raider, and Legacy of Kain. I guess Square Enix was serious. Now, interestingly, you also might remember Square Enix, same company who often complained that when games like Tomb Raider sold 6 or 8 million copies, that was a failure. This year's Tomb Raider, it only sold like 6 million copies. Such a disappointment. If you sell 6 million copies of a video game and that's a disappointment, you're doing something very wrong. But yeah, I guess Square Enix was serious about this. It says right in the transfer agreement, a purpose of the Section 1, purpose of the transaction. The transaction enables the launch of new businesses by moving forward with investments in fields including blockchain, AI, and the cloud. Okay, well, you know, good luck with that, Square Enix. So who bought, who's getting all those companies? The Embracer Group. Who is the Embracer Group? Well, it's a group you may remember. They've been picking up a lot of studios. It's one of those big conglomerates that just buys studios. Hasn't been around as long as like EA, so it doesn't quite have the same reputation for buying studios and murdering them that EA does. Who knows what's going to happen? But this group also, they're the ones who picked up Gearbox and THQ Nordic a while ago, and Deep Silver. Who else do they have? 3D Realms and Ghost Ship Games. Yeah, they've now picked up Crystal Dynamics and Eidos. So, it's quite the portfolio. Anyway, I'm sure we all wish Square Enix the best in its endeavors in the NFT blockchain bullshit market. Oh! What's this? Published by the Wall Street Journal the following day. NFT sales are flatlining. Oh no. Down 92% from last fall? Oh no. Oh, Square Enix. Oh, buddy. Oh, you might have backed the wrong horse. Oh, Yosuke, it's not too late, buddy. You don't have to get rid of Laura and Jensen, Alex Jensen. What's the Deus Ex guy's name? I don't remember. I've played a good chunk of I've played the Crystal Dynamics and Forward Tomb Raiders once but I've not played. I think I've played Human Revolution, and that's the only Deus Ex game I've played. Colin, hey, it has been a while. Hello. This is a happy stream because because I can imagine Yosuke and all the other upper echelon muckety mucks who wonder about us weird gamers who play games for fun. You know, I can just imagine them all, you know, selling off selling off Tomb Raider and Thief and Deus Ex, and the very next day see it widely reported that the NFT market's just completely crashing. Now, it's incredibly volatile. It's probably going to swing up and down all over the place, but that probably made their sphincters clench, and that makes it puts a smile on my face. So, is it Jensen? Okay, thank you. So that happened. What's next on my list? Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I talked about my cost of living going up, my rent going up, $147, I think it is. So that starts this month, the good old month of May, and I talked about how crummy it was that the way my apartment complex was doing it. They're like, oh, no, we're not raising your rent. We're just charging you separately for all the things your rent used to cover. See, you're paying exactly the same. You just, for rent, you just have additional charges that your rent used to cover. Uncool. And indeed, on the resident portal where I pay my rent, don't actually have to fill out a check and drop it through the mail slot of the leasing office anymore. I can do it online. Yay. Because who wants to hand deliver a check to the leasing office like a caveman or something? So there was an extra $12 on top of the extra $147. And I looked at the itemized list, and I saw rent insurance, $12 for rent insurance. And I went, well, wait a minute. That was not itemized on the addendum that I signed a few weeks back. So I already have renter's insurance. So I contacted my landlord, and I said, hey, I have renter's insurance. Here's the policy number. Could you remove that charge, please? And he says, yeah, just send me a copy of the actual certificate, whatever it is. And I sent him a copy, and he took it out. So, hey, cool. So I am only paying $147 additional dollars instead of $159. So that's nice. I mean, I guess I could have canceled my renter's insurance and just gone through what the apartment complex uses. So, but that was nice. That I mean, I don't care to pay an extra $147 a month, but it's better than an extra $159. So that's nice. I'm glad that was resolved amicably. You have to wonder how many people in this apartment complex aren't paying attention and are getting bamboozled out of an extra $12 a month. Hopefully no one. Lindy, hello. Services rendered for living participation. Yeah, as I explained to my landlord, who has no power here, because this complex was purchased by a rental management company. He's just the one who owns it. You know, he doesn't have any say about how the property is managed. He's just the guy in the office who does the paperwork. I miss Eden. She was my landlord before this place was purchased. So he was I mean, he was sympathetic to my plight and said he agreed that it's kind of crap, but that's the way it goes. I mean, I, c- I could just exercise my rights and not live under a roof. Well, I'm not paying it. Okay. You can live in your car then. Um, it's kind of like complaining about the price of milk or price of gas. I mean, gotta have gas unless you can afford. I've looked at the last two times I've purchased a car. Both times because the last one exploded. Um, well, once because it caught fire while driving, and then the other time the engine just died. Um, Actually broke in half. Not in two pieces, but actually split, which is would have been more expensive to replace the entire engine. Anyway, both times I've been in the market for a new car, I've looked into electric vehicles. And the first time back in like 2009, the infrastructure for owning an electric vehicle just wasn't really there. I mean, you could own an electric vehicle, but charging it would be a pain in the ass. They're just, even in like San Diego where I live, there wasn't, 10, 12 years ago, there wasn't a lot of places you could go to charge it. So, almost a year and a half ago when I got my last car, ew, pardon me, that was sour. I looked at EVs again, and now, currently, our electric vehicle infrastructure is a lot better. Like, a lot of the major grocery chains have a bunch of car chargers in the parking lot. So, go shopping, plug in your car. Once you're done, unplug it, and off you go. So that's not as much of a problem. Not traveling right now, of course, but if I were, you have to actually plot your route so that you find places. It's not, oh, I need gas, I should keep an eye out for a gas station. No, you have to know exactly where you're going to make sure that there's a place you can charge your car. So the infrastructure really isn't the problem now. The problem now is price. Electric vehicles are around $40,000. You can find some cheaper, but yeah, you're probably not paying much less than like 35 right now, or at least 2 years ago. And that's sadly out of my price range. So I have a gas vehicle. On the other hand, I don't drive much anymore. So, because I work from home, I'm not driving back and forth to the office 5 days a week. Which means that I only have to, even though gas is $6 a gallon. Well, let's be fair. It's like $5.80 to $5.90. I haven't seen it over $6 in a while. But expensive as gas is, I only have to put it in my car like once every 3 or 4 months. So, not as bad. So, what was I talking about? Oh, so, yeah. So, yeah, I completely lost the train of thought there. Okay, next topic. Cinco de Mayo, which is on the 5th of May, which is a good time to have that holiday. Makes sense, I think. I think it'd be confusing if it were on any other day. What is Cinco de Mayo? Every year I look it up, and then I promptly forget. So, but what Cinco de Mayo means, for most people, I suppose, is an excuse to eat tacos. Not like you really need an excuse to eat tacos, but, it's always nice to have one. So I celebrated Cinco de Mayo by going to the office where we had the taco truck. And I got a couple little tacos and some horchata, which is like, if you don't know, it's like rice, milk, and cinnamon. It's delicious. And it's so delicious that I almost tried to drink it straight through my mask. Almost. I totally was like this, and it's like, oh man, I'm about to pour it all over me. Which would have been hilarious, but also sticky and messy. I'm glad I didn't. It would have been funny, but Yeah, horchata is good, or at least it tickles my taste buds nicely. Um, Good enough to try drinking through a mask? I mean, close. So, Spain. Wasn't the French? See, this is why I have to look it up every single year. I mean, it's not Mexican Independence Day. I think that's in September. But yeah, there was a there was a battle in Mexico at some point. I thought it was the French, but maybe it was the Spanish, or maybe it was the team up. I forget. I have an American education, so you know, you're lucky I'm aware there are other countries. Anyway, if you've never had horchata, I recommend it. I try not to eavesdrop on people. And generally speaking, I am successful at not eavesdropping on other people because I don't care what anyone's talking about. I'm very self-centered in that way. But I do find that if someone's speaking a language that I know a little bit of, my ears automatically focus on it because I get that little endorphin rush whenever I recognize words and phrases in languages that I don't really know that well. So if you're speaking English, unless you're speaking to me, I'm probably not paying attention to you. If you're speaking Farsi or French, I'm probably not listening because I know like one word in Farsi and like maybe two words in French. So you know, I'm probably just not listening. However, if you're speaking Spanish or Japanese, languages that I know a little bit of, my ears automatically focus on that. And I get all excited when I'm like, ooh, I know what they're saying. And then I feel like an asshole for eavesdropping. Let's see. DTDTD. What are we at? Jared says cost me is $4.09 for $4.09 a gallon for gas. Well, you don't live in Southern California. It was against the French? Okay. Chicago points out Mexicans don't really celebrate. It's just an excuse for Americans to get drunk. Yeah. So I'd imagine probably St. Patrick's Day is probably more of an American thing too. So I mean, you know, enjoy your booze and tacos, or you know, however you know, be nice to people. Don't be racist. Yeah, I mean, pretty low bar. Enjoy your tacos. Enjoy tacos without being racist. I mean, it's fairly low bar. I think most of us can manage to clear that one. And also, find a safe spot to remove your mask before drinking your horchata. Anyway, so I was outside doing calf raises on the stairs, the concrete steps that lead down to the street outside. And I had to move because someone was walking up the walk. And she was heading to the apartment over there, where a lady and her, I'm assuming daughter live, who speak Japanese. And every time they're outside and talking, I can't help but tune my ears to them because I start recognizing little words and phrases. She's like, "Oh, her name is Mika. Okay. Oh, they're saying hello. They're saying how are you? Oh, they're talking about food. They're talking about lunch. Okay." I'm like, I should stop listening to this, but these years of watching anime was not for naught because I've picked up a little bit of the language. So try not to eavesdrop, but it's hard when someone's speaking a language that you're learning, even if not like actively. It's just something you start picking up. Speak Arabic or Italian or Russian or something if you don't want me to pay attention. If you don't want me to eavesdrop, don't speak a language I know or know parts of. Again, you're safe speaking English around me because I'm probably not going to be paying attention to you. The H is silent in horchata. It shouldn't be, but you're right, it probably is. I don't think I've ever actually heard anyone say the word, but thinking about it, like, hotel is the same word, it's just hotel. Which is weird because, Spanish does have a sound, but the J makes it. So I'm not sure what the H is for. I mean, Spanish is honestly less weird than English. But, yeah. there's some phonetic phonetic weirdness with Spanish. But, low bar says Chicago. Yes, some people can't achieve it, but I digress. Happy stream. Yeah. Let's see. It was against the. So Jared says the Cinco de Mayo thing is against the French in a battle in their attempt to colonize Mexico. Battle of Puebla. That sounds right. The Battle of Puebla. That sounds right. Yeah. Amber Gay say yeah. What are some? There's Hotel, Asta. It's not Hasta, and I'm sure there's a good reason. I mean, I only took 2 years of Spanish when I was in high school and didn't learn a thing. I think I've learned more Spanish just being surrounded by... Yeah, I mean, I'm only like 15, 20 miles from Mexico. So a lot of neighborhoods, there's a lot of people who speak Spanish. There's a lot of billboards and, sides of buses that are written in Spanish. So a lot of the Spanish I've learned over the years is just because I see and hear it. I don't think the classes I took in high school were very good. Although I did learn how to formally conjugate verbs and stuff like that. That's a little bit harder to pick up. But quick Google, yeah. H stands for happy because it makes people happy to drink horchata. Yeah. There's probably... H is... It probably dictates exactly how the word is pronounced without putting a on it. But, Anime Momo says sex is overrated. Okay. Most people, I think, disagree with you, but that seemed to come out of nowhere. I hope everything's okay. I hope you didn't just, have sex for the first time and think, oh, well, that sucked. What is this garbage? None of you have any taste. You assholes have been talking this up my entire life, and that's it? Son, I am disappointed. But, well, I'm sorry you didn't have a good time. But not every entertainment activity is for everyone. Needlepoint bores the hell out of me. Just not for me. So, luckily, lots of different things we can do to pass the time. So I spoke to my sister today, and called her up to talk about some stuff. And did you do it right, says Chicago? Did your partner do it right, I think is the question. Hi, Anime Momo. Good to see you too. Or have you here in the chat. Nice shoes. What was I talking about? Kelly, yes. So I called my sister today and we chatted a little bit. And she and her man are going to an adult prom, which I didn't know was a thing, but apparently it's a thing. So they're both dressed up in fancy clothes and they're gonna go dancing. Cool. Except she was in the hotel room in a fancy dress, and Jeremy was out. It starts with a J. What do you want from me? I'm not living with him. I don't need to know what his name is. See, it's bad if she does that. Me, I can get away with misnaming him. Kelly can't, not so much. So Jeremy was out because he had lost his phone. And yes, they tried calling it, but no one was answering. They did have a phone locator, so and they weren't late for anything. But anyway, that's where he was. So where she's sitting in the hotel room in her fancy dress, which I've not seen pictures of yet because they haven't gone to the prom where they're getting pictures taken. So if you're friends of my sister, look forward to fancy dresses on Facebook. So I'm chatting with her, and the connection is just terrible. And I tell her, I say, can you just, is there like a landline phone in that hotel room? Can you just call me back on the land phone? Because the cell phone, because she just kept garbling every minute or so, and I kept losing what she was saying. She says, no, there isn't one. Is this a thing now? Like, I remember when computer towers stopped including like A drives, and I was like, well, how am I supposed to play all my Sierra Quest games, right? Let me see if I can. Yeah, how am I supposed to play King's Quest 3 if I've no place to stick the disc? You know, I can't. There's nowhere to put my disc anymore. No. Maybe hotel rooms are the same way, and they just figure everyone has a cell phone, so they don't bother having phones in their rooms anymore, which is weird. But maybe that's just the direction the hotel motel industry is going in. So Jeremy gets back, found his phone, and he's gonna hop in the shower because he's a stressed, sweaty mess. And my sister's constantly talking between me and him because he's a guy and he can't do anything without her. You know, like most guys. Honey, where are my pants? You know, that kind of a thing. So as I'm talking to her, she's answering all of the guy questions, like your clothes are over there. There's shampoo on the little ledge inside of the shower. Go do the, take off your clothes before you try to bathe. That kind of stuff. And I find out through this conversation that he can't figure out which one's shampoo and which one's conditioner. And my sister's like, I think the blue one is the shampoo. And I say, Kelly, wait. Are you telling me that the little bottles of shampoo and conditioner in this hotel room that doesn't have a phone are not labeled? Like, I wouldn't, whatever's in that bottle, I wouldn't dump it on your head. If that bottle's, I'm not dumping an unlabeled bottle of goo in my head. Who knows what's in there? So this hotel room, apparently, one, does not have a phone in it, and two, does not label its shampoo and conditioner bottles. You just have to guess. I should have asked her what hotel she was in. If that's like Bob's Hotel, or if it's like a Motel 8 or something, or Holiday Inn. Fraser Fraish, hello. Depends on the type of hotel or costume. Momo says, pornography is an online drug. Make sure to stay away from it, everyone. An online drug. Not... Generally, drugs have to be a... I mean, porn can certainly be habit-forming. It's certainly more related to, like, gambling in that sense, but it's not a chemical addiction in the same way that something else would be. But, if you're gonna watch porn, watch good porn. I'm sure there's so much porn out there, some of it's gotta be good. Like, just... I mean, it can't all be bad, right? So... What was the chain of that hotel? Is it Hilton? I honestly don't know. So... Well, certainly, speaking of pornography, don't learn about sex and sexuality from pornography. Yeah, don't do that. You know, it's like don't learn like medicine from watching, I don't know, Grey's Anatomy or in any of those, The Good Doctor. I don't know, House. There you go. There's one. What was the one George Clooney was on? Scrubs. There you go. There's another one. Don't learn medicine from watching those shows. Don't learn sex from watching porn. Doesn't mean you can't watch these shows and enjoy them. Doesn't mean you have to enjoy them either. Just don't learn from them. Because, not real life. Anyway. What are we talking about now? Okay. So. Porn can be repetitive. Yeah, I mean, just by subject matter. I mean, it's kind of a repetitious process. You kind of have to get creative, otherwise it's going to be stale. I remember a couple of years ago, May, I think it's May. I think May is. I don't know who proclaimed this, but May apparently is the month of masturbation. You can only do it in May. If you miss out, you got 11 months to wait. That's how it works, you see. So, in the past, I've done 30 days of Netflix, where every day I watched a new movie on Netflix and reviewed it. I did 30 days of comics, where every day I read a new comic and I reviewed it. So I thought it would be funny to do 30 days of porn. And then I realized it would be funny, but I really don't want to. So I thought, okay, for an April Fool's joke, I'll do 30 days of porn day 1 on April Fool's Day, and that it'll just be an April Fool's joke. So I thought, what I would need is an actual porn movie, not a porn scene, which is just two or more people, or less, I guess, having sex. And that's it. No character, no story, no setup. Just, here's people banging and joy. But actual movie with characters and plot and stuff that happens. And end credits and music and lighting and and editing and all kinds of stuff. Instead of just putting a camera on the tripod and pointing it at a bed or a couch or the bathroom counter, or wherever. So I, of course, because I'm real serious about this stuff, I did my research to find the appropriate adult site which actually hosted pornographic films. Remember, before my time, they used to actually have pornographic movie theaters. From what I understand, The Devil and Miss Jones and the Green Room, The Green Door, something like that, Deep Throat, these are all actual movies with plot. Never seen them myself, don't know if they're any good, probably not, but I hear they still make movies like this. So I found a site that seemed to fit the bill. And I was like, here's my plan. I'm just going to do the free trial, the 3-day free trial, watch one movie, review the movie, because to me it's kind of funny doing a filmic analysis on a porno movie. I thought that 30 days of that would not be funny, and I really didn't want to do that. But I thought one day would be funny. It really didn't go well, and I'll give you the link because it's actually kind of funny. If you want to see me, the anger breaking through, that's a video. Let's see, it's called here it is. It's called 30 Days of Porn, Day 1, Pray for the Dying, which was a porno slasher, which I was actually kind of interested in seeing because I love slasher movies, so I was kind of interested to see how they do that. Unfortunately, the whole video, I didn't get to watch the movie because the site didn't work, and then I went through like 2 hours on customer service trying to get my $3 back or whatever it was, and I'm like, your site doesn't work, give me my $3 back. And then they charged me for a full month, and I had to get them on the phone for like 2 hours. I'm like, no, I don't want to pay for a month. I want you to give me my $3 trial money back. Anyway, that made me angry. The point I was making with this entire silly story is I found out that porno movies are long. Like, you thought the superhero, modern day superhero movies are bladder busting. Oh my god, these porn movies apparently seem to average like 3 hours. which I guess is not too terribly surprising if, like, the porn scenes are like 20, 30... The actual explicit sex scenes are like 20, 30 minutes each, and there's 6 of them in the movie. That does push out the runtime. But I agree with Lindy, like, with the repetitiveness. I mean, I like slasher movies, you know, but how boring would it be if Michael Myers, you know, stabbed a victim, and then stabbed him again, and then stabbed him again, and again, stabby, 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 for 30 minutes. Just kept stabbing the same person, just over and over. I mean, even if he mixed it up a bit, it's like turned him around and stabbed him from behind. You know? Stabbed him in the face. Stabbed him in the butt. You know? It's still essentially the same thing. It's like, okay, I'm bored now. You know, maybe it's for some people, but yeah, for me, not so much. Let's see. Masturbation, man. That's a good one. Can you practice masturbating before or after May? There you go. It just don't finish. There you are. It doesn't count if you don't finish. I guess that's how it works. All right, where'd my notes go? So, I've mentioned that thanks to rent increases and, you know, the cost of living has once again outpaced my salary. So currently, I am working on broadening my skill set in an attempt to make myself more valuable so that I can maybe get a raise or something. So I've been teaching myself, formally teaching myself SQL and JavaScript, which I found out I need to teach myself CSS and HTML to go along with it, because if you're going to do JavaScript, you really need to know CSS, and if you want to know CSS, you really have to understand HTML. So working on that. This week, I had the opportunity to flex my SQL muscles because we have an app that updates all of our. It's called Easy Update. Great name, right? So all of our client computers run Easy Update once a week, and if there are new files or things that they need on their computer, it grabs them and puts them on the computer. So we're releasing a new version of Easy Update that changes how it... So when Easy Update runs, it logs information about the computer that's running it to a database on a server somewhere. This new version of Easy Update is changing how things are logged because we switched... Because originally we switched antivirus providers, and the way it was logging the version number for the old antivirus provider doesn't work with the new one, so it doesn't look right in the database. So I had to flex my SQL muscles, there you go, and query the proper database on the proper server to make sure all the data is being logged correctly. And I'm like, all right, can I do this? And I write my query, and I hit execute, and doesn't work. I'm like, ow, phooey. Thought I had it. Apparently don't have it. Okay. All right. Where did I drop a semicolon, or do I not have my brackets right, or my quotes, or am I using the wrong word, or something? And I'm looking. I can't find some type of syntactual error or any type of logic error. And I look at the actual error that was thrown when I tried to execute my SQL statement. And it was one of those unhandled exception thrown in a component of your application, blah, blah, where it doesn't tell you much. But essentially it said it can't connect to the server to pull the information from it. And my first thought was, oh, it's because I wrote it wrong. And then my second thought was, am I still connected to the internet? That was the problem. I wasn't connected to the internet. So, yeah, my SQL query was fine. It just failed because I had lost connection to the internet. So, yeah. Will the new update be called Sleazy Update? No, but that's not a bad name. Especially because we can put anything on your computer that we want. So, so I've been, the fun thing about learning is you keep learning what you still need to learn. And, I'm working on getting certified in JavaScript. That's one of the reasons why I didn't have an extra video this week, because I've been busy learning myself new skills. And I actually took the the HTML, the LinkedIn HTML skill assessment, and passed that. I'm like, oh, neat. So according to LinkedIn, I'm a certified HTML developer. Well, cool. I'm adding that to my profile. And I thought, I wonder if I'm good enough for the JavaScript certification. So I tried it, and the way it works on the LinkedIn skill assessment is you can try it. It's 15 questions, multiple choice. Each question you have 90 seconds to answer, and it doesn't tell you what you got right, what you got wrong. You either pass or you don't. And if you fail, you can take it one more time, and if you fail that, you can't take it for another 6 months. Well, I failed the first time, but it also asked me questions that I didn't know the answer to. Like, I had no idea what JSON was, JSON. I hadn't gotten to that part yet. So there were a couple things like that. Also, it's a weird assessment in that it seems more interested in trying to trick you with weird syntactual stuff than it is with really seeing if you understand what JavaScript is and how to implement it. So I remembered all the stuff that I found confusing, and I looked it up, and I said, you know what, I was feeling pretty good about it, so I, tried it again. And I was also wondering, is it going to be the same questions? It's not. I felt there was a pretty good chance it would be the same exact questions, because they don't show you what you got wrong or what the questions were, which is a shame, because for me, that's how I learn. If you show me what I got wrong and I can study it and learn why it's wrong, or even better, look at the ones I got right and understand why they're right, that facilitates my learning. So I took it again, and I passed it. So I am now a certified JavaScript developer too, at least according to the LinkedIn skill assessment, which I honestly don't know if anyone gives the slightest shit about. But, so I am now taking a JavaScript online course, which ends in some type of, it's like a 30-hour course, ends in a certification. You have to take a, 70 question test, something like that. I think it's 70 questions, 90 minutes, I think is what it was. And if you pass, you get certified, and LinkedIn has this certification section, and it's like, where's your certification from? And so I decided to get certified by someone who's actually in the drop-down list, because I found some other places that are that will give you a certification, but if they're from no one anyone knows, it's probably not great. So that's what I've been working on this week. Thank you, Chicago. Which has resulted in me being not sleeping very well because of life stresses and excitement over learning new things and possibilities for what the future may hold, and all the new information that's pounding around my head that I'm trying to retain and understand. not been sleeping well, and I've been oversleeping. So earlier, like on Monday or something like that, I slept till 10 a.m. I'm like, oh crap. So I've been having to use my alarm. I've also been drugging my ass to sleep. I've been hitting the melatonin so I can actually get to sleep, because man, insomnia is no fun. It's not fun laying there till 4 in the morning. It's really boring. I mean, it's not like sex levels of boring, but yeah, laying there in the dark with nothing to do is pretty repetitive too. So, so my plan right now is to so one of the things so what I do for a living, for those of you who don't know, is I'm a quality assurance analyst for a technology company. I do a lot of I do the manual testing for our proprietary software and hardware. It's mostly black box testing, which is here's a thing, make sure it works right. I also do white box testing, would essentially be like code review kind of thing, where you'd actually be examining the inner mechanics of something to make sure it's actually logging, doing exactly what it's supposed to on the inside. Most of my testing is very user facing, but I also engage in what could be called gray testing. So similar to what I was doing with SQL with our Easy Update, not just making sure that Easy Update runs and puts all the files on your computer where they're supposed to be, but that Easy Update is actually logging all of the information from your PC in the right spot, in some back-end database server, and in the right format. I also make sure that our other systems are logging information correctly in their logs that the end user never sees, but it's very helpful for our developers to be able to pull a log and be able to read it and see what's going on if something happens. So that's what my job is. So what I'm trying to do is improve my skill set so that I could perhaps go into automated testing, which would demand a higher salary and is also just really interesting. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Electronics Engineering Technology. Coding was a part of my education. So that type of development is actually appealing to me. So what automated testing would require is writing scripts that would direct a program to test an application, or less often, but a piece of hardware for you, which is valuable for things like performance and endurance testing. Like, okay, so this application works correctly when you run it once, but does it work correctly when you run it 1,000 times in a row? That's real tedious for me to sit there and click the button 1,000 times in the row for 3 hours or something like that, when you can write a script to tell a computer to do that. So that's my plan for now. That's kind of the goal, what I'm setting my sights on, and what I'm educating myself to be able to do, which is why I'm teaching myself HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and SQL. Will I be successful? Will my employer care that I'm about my new qualifications? Will we adopt an automated testing platform? I don't know. But that's what I'm trying for now. We did years, like 2-3 years ago, we did evaluate one of the automated testing platforms, Selenium, I think, for a project that was ultimately canceled. So there's a possibility we may revisit that for something else. And I do know that we have another project coming up that's in the early stages of development. So if I write a proposal for why automated testing would be beneficial, and that, hey, I could do it, look at all my neat certifications. LinkedIn thinks I'm aces at this stuff. This other organization says I'm totally a qualified JavaScript developer. So you should pay me to do that, and then they'd pay me more money, and I wouldn't have to worry so much about the extra $147 a month that it costs to live here now. So that is for all of the options that we discussed on previous podcasts regarding my cost of living outpacing my salary. That's the plan. That's the goal. That's what I'm working on right now. Which means it's May 7th, and I haven't watched any movies yet this month. I watched the finale of Moon Knight. That's about all because I've been working and teaching myself HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and SQL. I'll admit, some of it's a little dry. Like I hit what was it? I hit a chapter on I think I hit a chapter on variable scoping. How when you declare variables, are they globally or locally scoped, and is the var variable local or global? In what situations is the let and const local or global in certain situations? Learning about hoisting, which is a fun word to say, hoist. Important things you need to know, but kind of a dry read. So not all of it. I do really enjoy learning about all the various methods and stuff that different object, like all the myriad methods that the math object has. Oh, look, the math object has methods for rounding and doing square roots and stuff. The ceiling and floor. Handling how decimals are done, and looking into different. I find the actual mechanics of it interesting, but some of it can be pretty dry. I'll admit. One thing anime says they don't tell you about collecting manga is that it's expensive. Yeah. Chicago says, I haven't seen Moon Knight. How is it? I had almost no reaction to it. It was something that Moon Knight was fine for me. I didn't not enjoy it, but I enjoyed it. It just never really excited me. Like, I was rarely ever looking forward to for example, the finale I almost completely forgot about. I remember it's for me, Tuesday at midnight is when the new episodes aired, and it was midnight 20, and I was like, oh yeah, the Moon Knight finale, I should watch that. I had completely forgotten about it. Yeah, granted, I've been focusing on a lot of this JavaScript crap, but I liked it. It just didn't really terribly do it for me. It's weird because there wasn't really anything about it I disliked, but it never really grabbed me. I will say I did like the animal ladies. I thought they were really cool. I loved. I don't know the actor who plays what's her name, Layla. I don't recall seeing her in anything, but holy biscuits, this woman just knocked everything out of the park. She going places. Oscar Isaac's absolutely no slouch. He's great too, but that's what I expect of Oscar Isaac. But the woman who played Layla was just really impressed me with her performance. She's absolutely great. Most seem to really respond to it a lot more strongly than I did. Again, I didn't dislike it. I just, for some reason, it didn't excite me. It was just, oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, Nothing wrong with it. Just fine. Although I did, Disney Plus just aired recently the behind the scenes, a little hour-long documentary of Book of Boba Fett, which I honestly found a lot more engaging and interesting than the actual show. I thought Book of Boba Fett was, as a show, just bad. Um, I enjoyed it well enough. I actually, it's got some Star Wars stuff. There's lasers and spaceships and monsters. What's not to like? It's just narratively, character and story was really bad. um, but getting horrible flashbacks to watching a professional level presentation on the production of cardboard boxes. Let's see. Fridge Flash, trying extensions, other languages, React, CoffeeScript, TypeScript. Not yet. No. The course I have does look into a jQuery. Is React in here anywhere? I don't think it is. But it is looking at some various APIs, Ajax. The stuff like that, React, those frameworks. We'll see where my self education directs me. Right now, I'm just hammering down the basics. And then I'll decide where I need to go. I mean, for example, for home system automation, testing automation. If you understand the basics of Selenium, it's not a big jump over to say test complete or something. They're very, very similar. They've got their own idiosyncrasies, and their menus are slightly different, but they both operate in fairly the same way. So, I can't learn everything. I need to be a little choosy. I can't learn every framework, but I'll probably learn one and then look at a few others just to get a sense of what the common denominator is. That allows me to just and then when I find out what I specifically need, it's a lot easier and quicker to pick up. Kind of like learning a second language. Once you've got one language, actually usually it's once you've got a second language under your belt, then the third and fourth, though it tends to get a lot easier. So I hear. I can barely speak one. To clarify, the flashbacks to watch a professional level presentation on the presentation of cardboard boxes was about the mention of dry reads. Yeah. But it's work, and it's stressful because nothing may come of it. My company may say, well, no, we don't want to do that, so we're not paying you anymore. And no other company may care either. It may be all for naught, but at the end of the day, maybe I can make a small web page that does something. I don't know. One of the things I did on one of the JS courses I took is okay, make a grid of boxes, make a web page that displays a grid of boxes, and then make them turn colors when you click on them. It was a event handler practice thing. Can you make an element do a thing when you do a thing, like move the mouse over it, or click on it, or hit a key on the keyboard, or refresh the window, or something like that. I'm not going to be doing anything. Like I've written demos of stuff that no one would ever use for anything, right? I think the first major application I wrote could charitably be described as an interactive screensaver. You know, all it was a bunch of balls bouncing around the screen, off the edges of the screen and each other, and you could select the balls and in real time shrink or expand their radius. And I mean, it was just so you're looking at, can I draw can I output something to the screen? Can I draw a shape? Can I do basic collision off the edges of the screen, or a not a straight object like a circle? Can I change? Can I dynamically resize the little circles that are bouncing around? It was a practice thing. It's not useful for anything other than a screensaver, maybe, but it's my hope that someone can look at this. It's like, okay, I mean, that's not useful for anything, but at least shows me you know what you're doing. So, yeah. So that's what I've been working on, and that's why no extra video this week. I have some in the can. I just haven't taken the time to edit them. I have a Fashion Police in the can that's been in the can for months. I just haven't edited it. Got 2 of the Fanboy Reacts to Superhero movie. Something else. I forget what it is. So I've got a couple things. Might not even see them next week. I really don't know. Now to close out the doing anything with it is pretty cool. Showing you are learning is like 90%. Thank you, Fresh. Jared says you might have to threaten with interviews to get a raise. It's true. I mean, my future may require me to move on from the company I work with. I would hate to do that because I like the company I work with. I like the people I work with, because I don't work directly with them because I'm always at home. I love people. I love them way over there. I love people who aren't in my space. I've been with this company for a long time. I really like the company. I like the people I work with. I like the work I do. The only thing I don't like is this job, by necessity, litters that corner of my room with all kinds of stuff. See over there? See all that stuff on the floor, all the power strips and cables and tablets and all. Yeah, that's not ideal, but it's the way it goes. But yeah, it's. I would like to, if at all possible, stay where I am, and it's partially because I like the company, and partially because change is scary. I know what I'm getting with this company. Regarding the culture, regarding the people who work here, regarding the benefits, regarding how I'm treated and how everyone treats everyone else. Change can be scary. It's like if I could move apartments, right, for the exact same amount of money. Like if I could move to another apartment for the same amount of rent, and it just had a bigger, better kitchen with actual like counter space, I probably would not move, because moving's a pain in the ass, right? So ideally, I don't want to leave this company, but I will, of course, always do what's best for me, not at the expense of anyone else, but that's how you have to do things. Anyway, create a sense of competition to see what you're worth. Well, I mean, I am kind of a QA service of one, so they would, my company would miss me. They either have to replace me or just not QA their stuff, which is not good. Anyway, it's getting late. One more thing I want to throw out here, and I wanted to leave it to the very end because maybe it's a spoiler. I don't know. So, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness came out yesterday. I'm not going to see it this week because the drive-in is double featuring it with itself. And I'm not paying to see the same movie twice. Really, I wish it would double feature with, what's that other movie? The other, Everything Everywhere All at Once, the Michelle Yeoh movie. I really want to see that. That seems like a great double feature, because they're apparently both multiverse films. Double feature that, drive-in, damn it. I don't want to see Doctor Strange twice. Anyway, so maybe next week. Probably not. If Spider-Man's any indication, this movie will be out on Disney Plus. Before the drive-in stops double featuring it with itself. But I did want to throw out a prediction that probably not true, but it's just what I know about these particular characters and what I've picked up from the marketing. I just want to just put it out there just so in case I'm right I can be like, ha ha ha, I'm a smarty. So, not an intentional spoiler, but if there's any concern, I hope to see at my game stream tomorrow. But here's my prediction. So, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We know that there's Doctor Strange and that there's Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. We know both of them are in the movie. We also know that America Chavez is in the movie. And America Chavez's power, who I'm not terribly familiar with from the comic books, but her power is basically she can punch through reality. Like, she can punch down the barrier between realities, dimensions, she can traverse the multiverse through punches. So I was thinking, here's my prediction. My prediction is that she's the MacGuffin of this movie. Wanda, when we left her in WandaVision, she had created a reality for herself, which included Vision and 2 kids, and then that reality, she was hurting people, so she let the reality resolve, which means she lost Vision, and although White Vision is still out there somewhere, and her fake kids. But as she's playing around with the Darkhold, you hear the kids, "Mom, help!" So they're out there in the multiverse somewhere. So my prediction is that America Chavez is going to be the MacGuffin, the magical football that Strange and Wanda are fighting over. Wanda wants to get her to use her power to punch through the right dimensions to get to her children wherever they happen to sit in the multiverse, and Strange is trying to keep America Chavez away from her for reasons. Maybe shattering that particular dimension will be bad, actually. So anyway, I mean, that's just small prediction, something I was thinking about how the characters might be used. Wanda's looking for her children in another dimension. Here's a character that can punch through dimensions, so I want to use this character to do that. Doctor Strange needs to stop her for plot reasons. So that's my wild out there guess of what Multiverse of Madness is actually doing. If you've seen the movie, you know if I'm right or wrong. I'll see it eventually. I'm excited to see it because I love me my superhero stuff when it's good. I haven't been doing great with the movies I've missed, like Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, Catwoman, Constantine, Fantastic Four. And coming up on deck are X-Men 3, The Last Stand, and Superman Returns. And I just saw The Batman, which my sister and I will talk about eventually on monthly movie mini reviews. She liked it. She really liked it. I really didn't. So I'm really looking forward to discussing that movie. There's not going to be a video for The Batman because it's not a movie I've missed. It's something I watched when it came out, a month after it came out, because it hit HBO Max like 4 weeks later. But we'll have a monthly movie mini review for The Batman, and we'll see what my sister liked and what I thought didn't work. Again, which is not to say nothing about the movie worked. There was a lot about the movie that I quite liked. I just overall did not think it was a very good movie. Oh well. Which makes me sad because I like Batman, and it bums me out when Batman's in a movie I don't like. It's it'd be like, I like Weird Al, right? It's like if Weird Al put out a single and I didn't like it, I'd be really bummed. You know, this Weird Al song sucks. I'm so sad. You know. So let's see what we're talking about. It should be fine as long as you don't go Doom Patrol wrong flex with reality bending. Oh, I Flex, what's his name? Flex something. I really like. I need to watch season 3. I really was enjoying the Doom Patrol series. Good series. Flex Manifesto, Flex Magneto, Flex Mentallo. That's it. Flex Mentallo. That's what it is. Funny character. I like that. Good show. Okay. Clappity clap. That's it for tonight, everyone. Thank you. So we finished Trails in the Sky SC last week. So we'll start up Trails the third first weekend in June. For the next couple of weeks, we're just gonna do some different stuff, just to to cleanse our palates. Don't want to. See, this is what I'm talking about. Scrungle didn't get a notification, and you're coming in right at the very end of the podcast. I'm very sorry about that. Sorry, Scrungle. Good to see you, though. Haven't seen you around these parts in a while. But I'll have we'll be doing a Sunday stream, video game stream tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, and we will be playing the extra epilogue thing in Future Connect, I think is what it's called. Let me switch. I have it. Future Connected. That's what it's called. Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected. The extra bit of Xenoblade content that was added to the definitive edition. So I finished the main content, so I'll be starting that, and we'll play a little bit of it tomorrow. So hopefully you guys will have time to join me on the Xenoblade adventures. And so again, noon Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. Hope to see you there. And until then, hope you all have yummy dinners and enjoyed some lovely horchata on Cinco de Mayo, because it's good. And I hope you didn't try to drink it straight through a mask and dump it straight down your shirt, which I totally didn't do. Almost, but not quite. Would have been funny, but Skrunkle's pain will be noted. All right, that's it for tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.